do followers even matter anymore? You know, I thought I'd devote an episode to this, and you're probably going, Dean, why are you devoting an episode just to followers? Well, this is marking a fundamental shift of how social media works. And it's actually a good thing for you and me that the, popularity competition that social media has propagated, they're going to shake it up, and it's going to be massive for you. Because you may not, let me start at the beginning. When social media started, obviously Facebook was the kind of almost the first to the party. When it started, it was about friends and who you were connected with and friends with. And then they brought in followers with Instagram and Twitter. And followers were people who subscribed because they liked your content. And it used to be, emphasis on used to be, that your follower count would give you an advantage with your content. And it turns out that grew and grew and grew and created what we call the creator economy or the influencer culture. But guess what? As social media evolves, they've realized that that inbuilt advantage doesn't work for the platforms anymore. And social media platforms are horrendous at rug pulling. They create a feature, people jump on it and own it and leverage it, and then they make the feature more difficult. This is a trend that has happened in every platform, every new feature. They roll it out, make it easy for people to get hooked on, and then they raise the bar. They make it more difficult. Why do they do that? Well, they do not want people checking out. They do not want people leaving the platform. They want to keep people on the platform because that's how social media platforms make money. They make money from creators spending all of their time on the platform, creating the content, and consumers scrolling and eating it up. In one sense, it's the perfect business model when you think about it. We'll get people so hooked on the platform, they will fill it full of content that keeps other people on the platform for longer so we can sell that attention to other people. It's like a TV channel where they basically let the audience compete to get their slot on the channel. So why is this a great opportunity for you? It's because the follower count is less and less important. Now we've got AI. The AI is studying our behavior, studying what we consume, and it can show us more of what interests us rather than rely on who we've chosen to follow. You see, we think about that follow button as it's useful for us because we can self-select what we want to see more of. But actually, that follow button is for the platform to know what we want to see. In other words, so they can show us more of what will keep us on the platform. But now the AI is smarter than that, and the AI will figure it out for them so they don't have to risk us seeing something we're not interested in. That feed can be permanently populated with things that interest us. So where's the opportunity here for the average person on social media? Where's the opportunity? Well, the opportunity is in the niche content. The theory of building an audience on social media is changing. And the theory was amass a large audience and convert from it. And the reality is that no longer suits social media. So the advantage here is if you start to really focus on a niche audience where you're adding value in a very specific specific group of people about very specific issues, guess what? You can benefit from the platform because the platform will figure out Dean does content about this. This is what he talks about. This is who it's relevant to. I can serve it to people who exactly are relevant with that. So this whole premise of having followers, this whole premise of getting more and more people to see your content is over. It's over. You're already seeing brands putting more money into people with niche audiences than big, broad audiences. So the win here is that the follower count no longer and will no longer determine who sees your content. It will be about understanding the platform, understanding who you're for and the key things you talk about, and the platform will do the matching. And we know how this works. On every platform, there's a universal law. If you don't create dwell time and discussion, and you can dig into the algorithm in all you want, all the nuances of different algorithms, but it comes down to, if you don't create dwell time and discussion, you're invisible. So the challenge here is not how do you master an algorithm? How do you get more visibility? It's, do you know how to retain exactly the right audience's attention? And do you know how to get them sharing their thoughts? Those are skills and techniques, whatever you want to call them, that transcend social media. If you can master engaging a specific group of people and getting them to share their ideas, that will work on any platform. Any platform. The algorithm will figure out who's interested and who's not. But as long as we keep going down this route of how do I appeal to as many people as possible, we actually confuse the algorithms, because one person doesn't find us interested, next person does. One person thinks it's irrelevant. Why is that? Because we're all over the show. So if you've got a load of valuable content for junior lawyers, build a junior lawyer channel. Make it for them. Yeah. Give value for them. Start discussions about things that matter to them. Touch them in their emotions. Make them laugh, cry, shout, angry, whatever. That's where the secret of where social media is going. The follower value is over. The value of having lots and lots of followers is done. You know, that has already died. It's working its way out in the wash. Now you have the advantage of going, how do I build that niche audience? And that means you may not need thousands of people, but if the right 100 people see your stuff, you're unstoppable. One of my friends on LinkedIn, Melina, shared a post that I thought was really kick-ass today about people complaining about the drop in impressions. And she shared almost like a quote of somebody saying, oh, I only got 500 impressions on my last post. And then she shared an image of what 500 people looks like. And I thought it was a brilliant post because it was kind of contrasting. Actually, do you realize what 500 people are like? And then the argument, the next thought, and I commented on a post because I thought it was brilliant. The next thought is, who are your 500 people? Because if you're creating content and you're creating content for a broad audience, that 500 people is pretty splintered. It could be all sorts of different people, random people. It could be somebody who found it funny. It could be somebody who found you insightful. It could be all sorts of random people. How does an algorithm know who you are most relevant for if that is such a hodgepodge of people? How does it know where to distribute it? And what if it gets it wrong and it distributes it to this group of people and then all of a sudden they don't like it? It was just a fluke that those people liked it and spent time in it. So this is where this niche opportunity comes in. Start to position yourself as a sought-after specialist. Start to put that together so you're going, I don't need to play this popularity contest. If I've got the right 500 people around me, if I've got the right 500 people listening to me, I'm unstoppable. And that's true. 500 of exactly the right people paying attention to you is incredible. So why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? We don't do this because we're afraid. We're afraid that if we talk to one audience, it will fail. We're afraid that if we decide to lock onto one niche audience, like lawyers, or one specific problem, we lose, we miss out. But universal law of life, specialists make more money than generalists. And one of the biggest delusions we have in that area is we think we're a specialist and we're actually behaving like a generalist. And I'll give you an example. LinkedIn, right? Social media is an industry, but within that, there's LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm a bit of a specialist on LinkedIn. I think, I hate the word declaring yourself an expert, but I think I am an expert on LinkedIn. I've been doing it for long enough. I make good money from doing it. So I'm an expert in LinkedIn, but there's probably 10, 15,000 people who are experts on LinkedIn. How am I different? I specialize in helping people win clients on LinkedIn. That's what I do. Winning clients on LinkedIn, making money on LinkedIn. Now, other people could probably do that. My methodology differentiates me again, but I'm not just, hey, I'm a LinkedIn expert. I am a LinkedIn expert in a specific area of LinkedIn. Can I help you create content? Can I help you build newsletters? Can I do all of these other things? Yeah, but my angle is winning clients on LinkedIn. So if you come to me and say, Dean, I want to build a million following, I want to go viral every day, and I want to build a huge global personal brand, that's not my specialism. My specialism is helping you win clients and make money on LinkedIn. And I can help people do that with a tiny following, without any engagement, without spending hours on the platform. That's a sub area that I can own. And so if I just talk and focus on that thing, I can gain attention from people where that matters. And that's where social media is going. The follower bit's gone. It's now about, can you create dwell time and discussion with a narrow audience so the algorithm can see who you're relevant for, and the algorithm and the AI behind it will find the right people. That's a universal law. The algorithm is human. The algorithm is going, what is entertaining and keeping humans on this platform? If that's the case, let's show more of that to more of those people. That's how it works. Yeah, just like Netflix, if you watch a Bruce Willis film, the recommended for you is going to show you more Bruce Willis films. That's how it works. And if people like a certain string of films together, yeah, Armageddon and 2012 and The Day After Tomorrow, what was it? The Day After Tomorrow, whatever. If you like End of the World films, it's going to show you more End of the World films. And if somebody else watches Day After Tomorrow or Tomorrow Never, whatever it's called, Day After Tomorrow, Tomorrow Never Ends, whatever it is, that's James Bond. But if you watch one disaster film, it's going to show you more. And that's how it works. That's how it works. The algorithms and the AI will do the distribution. That's the new world. Yeah, because it's smarter, it's more efficient, it's more reliable, it's more profitable for the platform to do that. So that's why they're stripping all this stuff away. And so your response to this, the opportunity for you is you can build a very successful business by focusing on one group of people, and you don't need millions. You don't need tens of thousands. You need a few hundred, and you can make a ton of money. You can make a ton of money by having a very small audience that is bang on who you help. And the algorithm will help you if you've got, bluntly, the balls to focus. If you haven't got the balls to focus, you will start to compete with everybody else, and that's the tricky space. That's a real tricky space to occupy, trying to compete with everybody else. So the follower is not a worry. If you're chasing followers, you're chasing the wrong thing, because followers are over. Already, followers don't see your content on LinkedIn. Followers don't guarantee to see your content on Instagram. Followers don't guarantee to see your content on TikTok. Nothing is guaranteed with followers anymore. Even when you put a notification to say you want to see all of their stuff, you don't see it all. So it's not that anymore. It's now your opportunity to go, who's the audience I want to own? Who are they? What's the topic I'm going to own? The audience I want to own and the topic I want to own. And I mean niche topic. I don't mean like LinkedIn. It's too big. Think about that. That's the big opportunity. People are getting pissed off with falling impressions. Instagram's horrendous. Even TikTok's difficult. LinkedIn's getting more difficult. And we're playing the wrong game. Yeah, instead of playing this kind of popularity contest and quest for fame, what we need to do is think, how can we create this bubble of all the right people around us so we can convert in higher percentages with fewer numbers? That's where the game is. And look, I know this has been a brief little podcast, but I think this is probably a killer thought for some of you, because I know a lot of people go round the treadmill, round and round and round, buying course after course after course. You know, I saw somebody today sent me an email saying, I want to help you gain 100,000 followers and go viral in the next 30 days. I'm like, that's nice for my brain chemistry, for the dopamine hit, for the kind of approval addiction that we're all wired to need now. But actually, I want to make more money. And it's an easy sell. More followers, 1 million views. It's such an easy sell because our brain chemistry is wired to want that. But actually, the money's in the niche audience. The money's in turning a small crowd and building a small crowd are exactly the right people. 500 people. Visualize 500 people in a room. Now imagine if that room is your social profile. And now imagine if you focus so that you get the right 500 people to take those seats. You will be fucking unstoppable if you can do that. Instead of trying to go, how do I get 10,000 bums on those seats to see my content? I don't care what the content is, as long as I get 10,000 bums on seats. 10,000 impressions, 50,000 impressions will be all okay. Doesn't matter who they are. That's the reality of social media right now. People are chasing. It doesn't matter who's following you. It doesn't matter who's engaging. As long as you got it. As long as you got it. And it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? That's for another day. Anyway, followers are dead. Niche audience are in. And you've got a level playing field to build yours. One audience, topic, one niche topic. The algorithm will work with you if you focus on that, because it'll know who that matches, who that resonates with, and it'll know who not. And then you end up with an audience of buyers rather than just performing to a crowd.